Joining me here now on the Rich Eisen Show, and joining me here prior to Westwood One's coverage of Monday Night Football between the Saints and the Bucs is one of our favorites, a native son of the great state of Louisiana, and joining us here as a New Orleans Saint is none other than Tyrann Mathieu. How you doing, Tyrann?
Rich, how you doing, man? Always good to hear your voice.
Good to hear your voice as well. So walk me through the current state of affairs there in New Orleans and how you would characterize it now entering December play.
Well, I think it's fair to say that, we still have a chance, given, how our division, is playing out. But obviously it's, disappointing. I think, we all had, high expectations, coming into a season. And we just really haven't been able to kind of put, 2, 3, 4 games together, that we could be proud of. So, obviously it's December, and, if we're able to kind of finish this month strong, I think a lot of people would probably forget, how the first couple months of the season went for us. So just trying to keep a positive perspective on it, knowing that, there's still a lot of football, that's left to be played for us.
Absolutely, and you're just 2 losses behind the leader of the division, so no one is running away with it right now. What do you need to do to prepare to take on Tom Brady? It's not your first such rodeo, obviously, not even just this year. But what is that process like, Tyrann?
Well, I think defensively, the biggest thing is, how can we, affect him, in a negative way. I think, obviously, being able to create turnovers, generate pressure, challenge those receivers on the back end. I think that'll give us the best, opportunity to win the game. And I think, obviously, it's not much disguising, you can do against a guy like that. I think the scheme is what it is. It's going to come down to man on man, how bad do we want it, knowing that, it's going to take 4 quarters with this guy. It's not going to be, just playing one clean half, or playing a good half. We really got to be able to put together, a 4-quarter, game, so I think that's like the best, way to prepare for him is to really get your mind right.
And I imagine, you have had literal run-ins with Tom Brady before, have you not, Tyrann Mathieu, right? Literal?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. I think me and Tom have played in some, some highly competitive, games,
yes.
Where it was, do or die, win or go home. So, I always took great pride in, competing against him. He always brings out the best in you, and, sometimes, he can bring out the worst in you, too.
Would Lattimore say the same thing about Mike Evans, too? Tyrann, what do you think?
Well, I think those guys have had, more run-ins than me and Tom has had, over the years. So,
and it's possible Lattimore can be back in time for this one too. Not to have you tell me any injury news that maybe you're not allowed to, but it does appear that he could be in this mix for Monday night. Tyrann.
Yeah, and I think anytime you have a player, with that kind of ability, that kind of tenacity, I think he's one of the few cornerbacks in this league that, plays like that. Obviously a couple other, Jalen Ramsey, those type of guys come to mind, but, he's definitely up there in that category. And I think, anytime you're able to have him on the field, it's a big impact, for your team.
Tyrann Mathieu here on the Rich Eisen Show. And look, I know you didn't win the game this past weekend, but the offense, was about, obviously things didn't go your way in San Francisco. But I'm just wondering your defensive performance against an offensive unit that was really humming going into the game, and how you were able to affect things against San Francisco. What were you able to do you think, against them that not only you can use for Monday, but others might be able to use as a blueprint against a team that so many people are thinking can make the Super Bowl?
Yeah, I mean, I think looking back on, the game Sunday against the Niners, obviously, holding those guys to 13 points, that kind of offense, that kind of scheme, with those kind of players, obviously I think that is, something to be proud of. But, I can't help myself. We had 2 opportunities in the red zone, to catch interceptions or make big plays for our team. I had the one in the back of the end zone, where I kind of tipped the ball in the air. The guy ran under it, caught a touchdown. And then we had one earlier, I believe in the second quarter, where, one of our cornerbacks got his hand on the ball and he couldn't come down with it. So, for me, that's 10 points right there, that we kind of, let those guys put on the board. So, I think if we were able to make those plays, I think we definitely would have put our team, in a better position, to kind of, help us win the game.
Are you going to settle in to watch the SEC championship game somewhere? Is your practice or travel schedule prevent it? What do you got for me on that front this weekend for you?
Well, we play Monday night, so
that's yes.
I should have Saturday. I should have Saturday evening off. So
okay.
I'm definitely going to be locked in on my Tigers. It didn't go our way last week, in College Station, but I'm hoping those guys can, get back motivated and, go ahead out and shock the world.
I'm just trying to sit here because there's a lot of Ohio State guys on your team. If you want to tell them hello from me, that would be welcome. Not to pull you into my little mosh pit here, but you can tell them I said hi.
Go blue. I got you, Rich.
Oh, by the way, I like that. I certainly like that coming from you right there. Do you think, in all seriousness, the Tigers can kind of upend things with Georgia? What do you think? For real?
Well, I think we've shown, really, over the course of the season that, we can either play up or down to our competition. And so, I'm really hoping that these guys can, really get themselves riled up. I know Brian Kelly and Matt House, I know those guys are going to be prepared for that challenge. So obviously, Georgia is a great team. I think Kirby is doing a great job with those guys, but I do see my Tigers stepping up to the challenge and playing some good ball Saturday.
What's going on with you community-wise off the field? I always love talking to you and giving you an opportunity to talk about what you're doing when you're not playing football. Tyrann Mathieu.
Yeah. Well, so a couple of weeks ago, I had my annual turkey drive, where we were able to kind of be a resource for, close to 500 families. So, that's always something that, I look forward to, each and every year, especially during the holidays. And, next week after the Tampa game, I'll be hosting, about a group of 20 families. We're going to have a private, dinner with those guys, let the kids kind of open up some gifts. So all of this is a surprise. So I'm hoping that they're not, listening in right now. But
okay. All right.
So next week is going to be, our annual kind of Christmas giveaway. So and then after that, I'll be partnering with, Son of the Saint, which is a great organization, here in New Orleans that does a lot of great work, at-risk youth. So just looking forward to, this next month, just kind of knocking that out. And, like always, man, just trying to, throw my hand in the pile and, help out the people, that really need it.
What has it been like for you? Again, I know the win-loss is not to your liking or your expectation level. What has it been like for you to be back home as a professional football player for you?
Yeah, to be honest, it's been a blessing, to kind of be able to come back here, and I'm just more so proud of, how I've been able to kind of handle, everything. I think it was obviously high expectations for the team, but I think individually as well, a lot of people had, high expectations for me too. So, for me, I think it's always been the same, just trying my best to, stay humble, always, stay committed to, what's at hand, and I think that's playing football, but obviously, trying my best to lead the community and be, one of those guys that, impact the community in a positive way. So, and then it's always good to get home cooking, so that's been a blessing, So, yeah, man, I can't complain.
A lot of teammates reach out to you to help them make a reservation in town because you can get that, I'm sure, perhaps better than most. Like your own.
Oh yeah. They all want my hookups and stuff like that. So, but I've never been one not to share. So
no, I know that. But after a while, you got to tell the guys like your nickname is an open table for crying out loud.
Right.
you can't just do it all the time. But I mean, it's pretty cool, man, that you got to go back home, and I wish you the best of luck on Monday Night Football. I will most certainly be watching, and it's always great to catch up with you, Tyrann Mathieu. It's always great.
Thanks, Rich. It means a lot, man. I appreciate it.
Right back at you. That's Tyrann Mathieu of the New Orleans Saints right here on The Rich Eisen Show. Catch The Rich Eisen Show every single day on the Roku channel, 12 to 3 Eastern, for free.